Back down here, those concerned about climate change are calling this the breakthrough they've been waiting for, a deal brokered between the U.S. and China to greatly reduce carbon emissions, though critics are already questioning whether China got the better end of this deal. We get our report tonight from our chief environmental affairs correspondent, Ann Thompson.
China's pollution problem is plain to see, obscuring tourist snapshots, forcing marathoners to wear masks, even the police. The government tried to clear the smog for this week's World Leaders meeting by closing factories and banning cars as it did for the 2008 Olympics. Both had limited success.
The air itself is just plain thick, the worst it's been here in days.
Now, after years of dragging its feet, China is pledging to reduce pollution by taking action on climate change with the U.S. The U.S. and China, the world's biggest economies, are also the biggest carbon emitters, producing 39% of the world's greenhouse gases last year.
We have a special responsibility to lead the global effort against climate change.
The U.S. promises to cut carbon emissions at least 26% by 2025, doubling its pace. China promises to cap its emissions around 2030 or earlier and bump up its renewable and nuclear energy use to 20%.
It gives us a fighting chance of heading off the worst impacts of climate change if other countries around the world now join them.
For China, it means kicking its coal habit. Coal accounts for 70% of China's energy, and it's on track to build a new coal plant every 10 days for the next decade. But with 1.3 billion customers, China could change the renewable energy landscape.
This is going to help reduce the costs of renewable energy for all users around the world.
Here at home, Republicans are already putting up roadblocks if congressional action is needed.
The agreement requires the Chinese to do nothing at all for 16 years, while these carbon emission regulations are creating havoc in my state and other states.
Now, already the president has acted on his own, doubling the vehicle fuel efficiency standards by 2025 and directing the EPA to set limits on carbon emissions from power plants. A Pew Research poll taken after the election shows that 64% of Americans support stricter emission limits on those power plants. Brian?
Ann Thompson on the big environmental story today. Ann, thanks as always.